The story of Job from the Bible's Book of Job is one of the most complex and profound narratives about human suffering, divine justice, and faith. What really happened to Job, and why it matters, can be understood through a careful exploration of its theological, philosophical, and moral dimensions. Here's a breakdown. Job was a man of great wealth, influence, and integrity, known for his unwavering faith in God. His life was one of prosperity, filled with blessings, vast herds of livestock, loyal servants, and a loving family of 10 children. Job's devotion to God was unmatched, as he regularly offered sacrifices on behalf of his children, fearing that they might have sinned in their hearts. He was the epitome of a righteous man. Yet, this very righteousness would draw him into an unimaginable trial, one that would test his faith to its breaking point. In the unseen realms of heaven, a chilling conversation unfolded. Satan, the accuser, presented himself before God and challenged the foundation of Job's faith. Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan sneered. You have bulwark of his hands, and placed a hedge of protection around him. Take it all away, and he will surely curse you to your face. In a moment that would forever alter Job's destiny, God permitted Satan to strip Job of everything, confident that Job's faith would endure even the harshest tests. What followed was a series of calamities so devastating they seemed almost unimaginable. In a single day, Job received news that his livestock had been stolen by marauders, his servants slaughtered, and a violent wind had collapsed the house where all his children were feasting, killing them instantly. Each messenger brought fresh waves of sorrow, and the weight of his losses was unbearable. Yet, Job did not curse God. Tearing his robe in grief, he fell to the ground in worship, declaring, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." But the torment did not end there. Satan returned to God, arguing that Job's faith persisted only because his health remained intact. Once again, God allowed Satan to test Job, this time afflicting him with painful boils from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Job sat in ashes, scraping his sores with broken pottery, an image of utter desolation. Even his wife, overwhelmed by despair, urged him to curse God and die. Yet Job's response was resolute. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? Job's friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, arrived, intending to comfort him. For 7 days, they sat in silence, overwhelmed by the sight of his suffering. But when they finally spoke, their words offered no solace. They accused Job of harboring hidden sins, insisting that his suffering must be a punishment from God. Their arguments were relentless, their accusations cutting deeper than his physical pain. Job, steadfast in his innocence, defended himself, proclaiming that he had done no wrong to deserve such torment. Yet, his cries to God grew more desperate. He questioned the justice of his suffering and pleaded for an audience with God to explain why he, a righteous man, had been abandoned to such misery. Then, as if summoned by Job's anguish, a whirlwind appeared, and God spoke. His voice was powerful, commanding, and filled with questions that revealed the limits of human understanding. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me, if you understand. God's response was not the explanation Job sought, but a reminder of the vastness of divine wisdom and the smallness of human perspective. Humbled and awed, Job acknowledged his ignorance and repented, not for sins he did not commit, but for questioning the sovereignty of God. In the end, Job's faith was vindicated. God rebuked Job's friends for their false counsel and restored Job's fortunes. His latter days were blessed more abundantly than his former ones. He was given twice as much wealth, new sons and daughters, and a life that extended for another 140 years. Yet, the scars of his suffering remained, a testament to the trials he endured and the faith that sustained him. Job's story is one of relentless suffering, unwavering faith, and ultimate redemption. It leaves readers wrestling with profound questions about the nature of suffering, the justice of God, and the resilience of the human spirit. It is a tale that lingers in the heart, a reminder that even in the darkest storms, faith can endure, and hope can be restored. The story of Job is an enduring narrative that transcends its ancient origins, continuing to resonate deeply in today's world. In a modern context, Job's trials and triumphs serve as a profound lens through which we can examine the complexities of human suffering. At its core, the tale of Job forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the human condition and invites us to find hope and purpose amid adversity. One of the reasons Job's story is so significant today is its exploration of suffering and its causes. In a world where calamities, natural disasters, pandemics, economic collapses, and personal tragedies are a daily reality, the question of why people suffer remains as pressing as ever. Job's plight reminds us that suffering is often not a consequence of wrongdoing or moral failure. His friends' accusations reflect a simplistic worldview where suffering is directly tied to sin, but Job's experience defies this logic, demonstrating that the innocent can suffer without reason apparent to human understanding. This challenges modern audiences to abandon judgmental attitudes toward those who endure hardship and embrace a more compassionate approach. Moreover, Job's story underscores the limits of human understanding. In an era dominated by science, technology, and data-driven reasoning, there is a tendency to seek answers for everything. While advancements have brought remarkable progress, they have not eliminated existential questions about life, death, and purpose. God's response to Job, delivered from a whirlwind, is a poetic yet humbling reminder that some aspects of existence lie beyond human comprehension. This message is particularly poignant today as humanity grapples with questions about the origins of the universe, the nature of consciousness, and the meaning of life itself. The story also addresses the role of faith and trust in the midst of uncertainty. Job's steadfast faith, even when tested to its limits, is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. In today's world, where people often experience alienation, anxiety, and a loss of connection to traditional spiritual practices, Job's unwavering trust in God invites reflection on the sources of hope and strength in our lives. His journey encourages us to maintain faith, not necessarily in a religious sense, but in the goodness of life, the potential for renewal, and the eventual resolution of our struggles. Equally important is the lesson Job teaches about community and empathy. His friend's failure to provide genuine support during his darkest hours highlights the critical importance of compassion and understanding. In a hyper-connected, yet often isolating digital age, many people struggle with loneliness and the feeling that their pain is invisible. Job's story reminds us of the power of presence and the necessity of listening without judgment. True comfort comes not from offering easy answers or platitudes, but from walking alongside others in their suffering. Job's ultimate restoration also speaks to the theme of resilience and renewal. While the scars of his losses remain, the blessings he receives afterward symbolize hope and the potential for a new beginning. This aspect of the story resonates deeply with contemporary audiences, navigating personal and collective crises. Whether recovering from illness, rebuilding after natural disasters, or finding purpose after loss, the idea that life can flourish again is a source of profound encouragement. The story of Job also invites us to reconsider the nature of justice and divine sovereignty. In a world often perceived as unfair, where systemic inequalities and random tragedies abound, Job's tale challenges us to think beyond immediate circumstances. While God's answer to Job may not satisfy modern expectations for clarity, it reframes the question of justice within the context of a larger, unfathomable cosmic order. This invites patience and humility in the face of apparent injustices, encouraging a long-term perspective that trusts in ultimate fairness even when it is not immediately evident. Finally, Job's narrative is an enduring exploration of identity and purpose. In losing everything, wealth, family, health, Job is stripped down to his essence. His story invites us to consider what truly defines us as individuals. In a society often obsessed with external markers of success and identity, such as career achievements, material wealth, and social status, Job's experience reminds us that our core values, integrity, and relationship with the divine or the transcendent are what ultimately matter. In conclusion, the story of Job matters today because it addresses timeless human concerns with wisdom and depth. It challenges us to grapple with suffering, embrace humility, and find hope even in the face of overwhelming adversity. It encourages empathy and community, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. Most importantly, it offers a vision of resilience and restoration, showing that even after the darkest trials, life can be renewed. As long as humans seek meaning and wrestle with life's greatest questions, the story of Job will remain a source of guidance and inspiration.